I knew that there was a stray dog problem in New Orleans before living where I do now. I don't think I knew how bad it was. When you can leave your house in the morning and see as many as, 10 dogs within a 5-minute drive, I mean, it's pretty shocking. If you had feral packs of dogs living in an affluent, non-minority neighborhood, I guarantee you something would be done about it. So, the right people have to be interested. I founded Dogs of the Ninth Ward on May 19th, 2009. I was walking my dogs around the corner from my house, and I saw a totally emaciated, hairless, bleeding pit bull puppy. I had never actually rescued a dog off the street before, but I thought I couldn't leave her there. So I took her to the vet, and I actually got a bunch of donations for her care. And a couple weeks later, I found another dog, and it just sort of kept going from there. A lot of our dogs come to us from horrible pasts, and many of them were actually specifically inflicted by humans. I think it's amazing that a lot of these dogs come to us so sweet and so friendly. They're resilient. In the city of New Orleans, if a dog dies on the street, the official way that you are supposed to dispose of its body is to put it into a black plastic trash bag and put it at the curb for trash collection. If sanitation sees a dead animal that is not in a bag, they will not take it. So dogs are supposed to be thrown away like trash. I mean, dogs die horrible deaths on the streets, so, it's pretty compelling to try and take them when you can.
What would you do if you came across an abandoned dog on the street? Perhaps you think the owner is nearby. It's probably fine, and walk on. What if you came across another? You still might not worry about it too much. Their owners probably just let them run around the neighborhood. No big deal. How about 5 dogs? What would you do if you came across 10 abandoned dogs in just one day? In New Orleans, this is an everyday occurrence, and for Kelly Goss, enough was enough, and she took action. Dogs of the Ninth Ward is the story of Kelly's grassroots rescue organization and the dogs that they've saved. We will follow the journeys of 4 dogs from their beginnings on the streets of New Orleans to their time at the rescue and their happy adoptions into new, loving homes. This is the story of survival, a story of struggle, and above all else, of enduring love. Dogs of the Ninth Ward is an impassioned, compelling film that is literally dying to be made. When a dog dies on the streets in New Orleans, the official way to dispose of its body is to put it in a black trash bag and leave it on the curb for the garbage truck.
All right, Bo.
And more are dying. There are thousands of stray dogs, mostly concentrated in the Ninth Ward, and they face a harsh reality. constantly in search of food and water, at risk for diseases like heartworms, fights with other dogs, getting hit by cars, the list goes on and on. This is the bleak reality upon which Kelly Goss stumbled in May of 2009, when walking her 3 dogs she came across a pit bull puppy, barely alive. When she brought the puppy to the vet, she realized that she had just begun tackling a much larger problem, and her eyes were open to this widespread systemic crisis. Her grassroots rescue organization, Dogs of the Ninth Ward, D9, was born that day. Since then, she has rescued, rehabilitated, and found homes for over 200 stray, abandoned, and feral dogs. However humble her demeanor, Kelly is a hero.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, everyone, dogs are coming. Be ready. Go on. Quiet. I can always spill water over myself and probably do that.
Quite the same thing happened to filmmakers Amy Boschart and Silvia Turchin on an afternoon 1 year later when they came across abandoned dogs in the Ninth Ward. Upon taking one into their car and getting her the necessary care that she needed, they realized the staggering widespread nature of this problem, and they knew they had to do something to help. They decided to make this film to raise awareness of this rampant crisis, with social justice and animal rights at its heart. As we follow Kelly for 1 year as she rescues dogs, we not only seek to understand the social context that allows for this type of mistreatment and neglect, but to educate the public in raising awareness of the problem and teaching responsible practices to ultimately prevent this crisis from continuing.
You get the water. Not the camera, the water.
Here's a brief glimpse into the lives of the 4 dogs that we will follow. Marginy is a pit bull mix found in October 2010 with tons of infected bite wounds and scars. After 3 months of treatment, he was as good as new, and after a few months in foster care, he was adopted into a loving family in Boston. Dulcie is a pit bull mix found with severe chemical burns down her back. She's had a hard time finding a permanent home because of her anxiety around other dogs and is still searching for the right family. Vivi is a small Shih Tzu with long, matted, dirty hair who had been wandering around the lower Ninth Ward for months, every day crossing 4 lanes of traffic to hang out in the median on a really busy road. It was only a matter of time before she would be hit by a car, and no one was able to catch her. Then D9 stepped in, and after a trip to the vet and a shave, she was as good as new, and she's found a new home with family in Baton Rouge. Rosie is a black and white pit bull mix found living in an abandoned shopping mall in the Ninth Ward. Almost immediately after rescuing Rosie, she had 7 puppies, all of whom have been adopted into loving homes throughout Louisiana and Mississippi. After living with her foster family for many months and going through some heartworm treatment, Rosie has finally found a loving home with a family in a suburb of New Orleans. This project is special. The film will be unique not only in its access to Kelly and the filmmaker's intimate personal involvement with the subject matter, but also by entrusting its look and design to the gifted eye of award-winning cinematographer Silvia Turchin, whose honors include the John Gutman Filmmaker Award of Excellence, the Leo Diner Memorial Scholarship, a screening at the renowned Pacific Film Archive, and an honorable mention at the Fargo Film Festival. Additionally, the team will enlist the work of local New Orleans musicians who will compose a poignant score, firmly rooting the story in the unique soundscape of Louisiana. By partnering with local artists and musicians, this will also help put money back into the local economy. New Orleans is a unique place and a major interest point for potential audiences. This problem certainly existed prior to Hurricane Katrina, but it definitely exacerbated it. A film set in New Orleans draws attention. Lastly, Kelly is the perfect subject. She's just one woman with a big dream. Her enthusiasm is truly compelling and infectious. This neglect and mistreatment of dogs is something that is 100% preventable, but only if people know that it's happening. Dogs of the Ninth Ward is a film that must be made to raise awareness of this dire crisis and inspire action in those who watch it. The film will not only aid Kelly and her organization, but will have widespread effects, ultimately aiding in the push to change legislation that will get dogs off of the streets and into loving homes and prevent this from happening in the future. They say that dogs are a man's best friend. Have you ever experienced the unconditional love that a dog can give and felt it right back for them? Wouldn't you do anything to keep them safe from harm?
She started crying. The mom's like, honey,
Queen
let's
Bed will be
stop.
funny to fit her.
Oh, really?
He's like, I don't want to let her go.
That's what I did. I was like,
Go see Earl.
Oh, she's not coming over here now. She's getting new parents.
Yeah, he's like, ah.
Thanks for the food.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me chill here for a while.
Yeah, right. Oh, look at that.
cute. Finale.
Yeah, really. Okay, now you're handing it up.
This is totally handed
Okay, you sold it already.
Yeah. She's like, let me just make real sure that I made it clear exactly how cute I am.
That was the cutest thing. She really did. She's like,
She did it for the camera.
yeah, she did. She did. Now the other way. Oh, it's harder.
Unbelievable. She's just like,
She's so smart. She knows. She's like, this thing means do extraordinary things.
Why don't
The subject of animal welfare almost inherently incentivizes people who love animals to invest monetarily. In our previous Indiegogo campaign, we had different levels of incentives according to the dollar amount. For example, we offered to list people as associate producers in the credit, and even up to the highest level, the biggest contribution, we offered to do a short documentary on that person's dog. Yet we know that the true incentive for people who are contributing to our film, is not a documentary, is not a listing in the credits. It's really, the capability that they have to help create awareness about this terrible condition that exists and to help the creatures that they love. In our future post-production campaign, we will continue to incentivize people with such things as we have before, and additional things such as signed movie posters and merchandise that we will ask local pet stores or pet product manufacturers to donate for incentives. We are also seeking fiscal sponsorship through the Humane Society of the United States, and if that doesn't work, then through the ASPCA. If neither of those options work, then we'll be going to a more film-related society, such as the San Francisco Film Society. This will also open up additional areas of grants that we could qualify for, and will incentivize our contributors because, one, it's tax deductible, and two, it gives our film and our purpose a bit more clout in the donator's eyes. The total budget for Dogs of the Ninth Ward is $65,650. Our overarching approach to getting these funds is to get it gradually over the course of pre-production, production, and post-production. Above-the-line pay is based on 5 7-day-week shoots. The co-directors are budgeted at $1,000 a week for a total of $10,000. The cinematographer is budgeted at $2,000 a week for a total of $10,000. The sound recordist is budgeted at $1,000 a week for a total of $5,000. Above the line costs total $25,000. But actually, we have solicited in-kind donations from all of the above the line crew members. So basically, no one will be charging for this, and therefore we will receive $25,000 of above the line costs in in-kind donations. In terms of production, travel, food, and hotel for 2 crew members who are the co-directors and the cinematographer. Actually, one of the co-directors is also the cinematographer. So we're looking at a 2-person crew. For 5 weeks total of shooting, that's broken down into 4.5 weeks in New Orleans and 0.5 weeks in Boston, total $13,500. Our sound recordist will be from New Orleans, so there won't be any travel expenses related to this person. Lodging for the 2 crew members, the 2 co-directors, will total $7,000, which will come in the form of an in-kind donation from a bed and breakfast in New Orleans named Ashton's. The total for the airfare for all 3 shoots will be $3,000. That's 3 round-trip airfares from San Francisco to New Orleans, and then 1 side trip to Boston. For 2 people is figured as follows. So that's $500 per ticket times 2 people times 3 trips is $3,000. Food for these 2 people will total $4,200. This is figured in the following way. We're looking at $20 a meal. They will eat 3 meals per day. That equals $60 per day per person, times 7 equals $420 per week for each person, times 5 weeks equals $2,100 per person for all 3 trips times 2 people, and that gets us to our total of $4,200. So equipment costs for production will be as follows. We'll need external drives. We'll need 6 2-terabyte external drives. Each one is priced at $250 for a total of $1,500. We'll need camera and sound equipment rental. We received a discounted rate at $360 a week total, times 5 is $1,800 altogether, and we budgeted $250 for expendables. In terms of post-production, the co-directors will do a rough cut, and they're doing that, as an in-kind donation. But we will want to hire a finishing or online editor. We'll also definitely need a motion graphics designer, who preferably we would like to get from New Orleans, since we'll be doing a lot of maps of the area. We'll need a color grader. We'll need a sound mixer, and finally we'll need a musician / composer. We're looking at a really sort of minimalist score for the film, but nonetheless it's going to be very important that the music be from that area. So all that being said, we really would like to dedicate a good amount of our funds to getting a composer. The amount we budgeted for those services I just listed are as follows. Our finishing or online editor, $4,000. Our motion graphics designer, $3,000. Our color grading person, $1,500. Our sound mix, $2,000. And our score, $5,000. We've also budgeted $500 towards archival media, such as an extra hard drive, an HD cam tape, and DVDs. The projected estimate for distribution cost is as follows. Promotion, $2,500. Duplication, $1,000. Website, $1,200. Shipping, $200. Festivals, $1,200, and miscellaneous, $1,000.
Hello, my name is Aaron Greenwood, and I'll be going through the production strategy for Dogs of the Ninth Ward. Or perhaps it would be better to say post-production strategy, as the principal photography part of this production has already been completed. Editing is underway, and there is a schedule in place to guide the film through to its completion and delivery. Working toward an August 2012 delivery date, editing of the DVC Pro HD footage in Final Cut Pro will result in a fine cut by the end of April 2012, to which the sound edit, original score, and motion graphics will be married. Ideally, picture lock can be achieved through the efforts of the co-directors, but were time to be short, or alternatively, if it is decided that the film would benefit from another pair of editorial eyes, the budget does allow $4,000 toward an additional editor's salary. Speaking of budget and funding, as perhaps previously discussed, the production has applied for the HSUS ACE grant, which would provide the film with finishing funds to make Dogs of the Ninth Ward the powerful film it needs to be. Specifically, it would allow us to hire talented post-production professionals to aid us in manifesting our vision for the film. 3 more creative collaborators will be hired to produce motion graphics material, a musical score, and a professional sound mix. 2 of these, the composer and the graphics creative, will be drawn from the city of New Orleans to ensure that Dogs of the Ninth Ward benefits from and truly honors the authentic local culture and society of this great American city. We want Dogs of the Ninth Ward to become a project of and for the city, a documentary that does not only depend on the perspectives of a few non-locals, but one that truly sets down roots in the Ninth Ward and the greater New Orleans area. It is to be a truly naturalized and locally inflected document of its citizens, both canine and human alike. To that end, the search for a motion graphics creative will ideally dovetail with the search for a post-production house for Dogs of the Ninth Ward to call home in New Orleans. It is here that all the elements of the film, the picture and sound edits, the graphics, the score, and if needs be, the sound mix as well, will all come together. Once a suitable post-production house is found, the company could be brought on board as a producing entity in return for in-kind services rendered. It is exactly this sort of fiscal sponsorship and creative partnership that Dogs of the Ninth Ward seeks to encourage. Either way, the budget allows for $3,000 to hire a motion graphics designer. Motion graphics and animated maps of New Orleans neighborhoods will play an important role in situating the viewer. Working in After Effects or any other preferred software required by the graphics designer, not just animated maps, but also titles, credits, and additional visual aids will be produced and incorporated into the final edit. Just one example of such visual aids would be an animated illustration of the puppy population growth over successive reproductive generations. We want to find and begin collaborating with a designer as soon as possible. We want this person to have as much time as he or she needs to infuse their work with the spirit of New Orleans, that which only a native can be relied upon to provide. Also, of course, we suspect that having a local creative on the team will greatly improve the film's prospects of partnering up with the New Orleans post-production house, as well as fundraising and garnering of other financial sponsorships both in New Orleans and San Francisco. Moving from the visual to the acoustic, the sound design will be realistic, but at times accentuate an emotional reality rather than a physical one. Primary work on the sound design will be done by the co-directors in Pro Tools. Music will create the atmosphere of the forlorn lives the Dogs of the Ninth Ward live each and every day. It is of particular importance that the composer and musicians be from New Orleans, so as to offer a tonal and emotional authenticity. The budget allows for $5,000 for both the composer and any required recording sessions. The composer needs to be someone familiar with and personally connected to the material, the city of New Orleans, its culture, society, and especially its musical traditions. Collectively, the sound edit, score, and motion graphics are to be married and ready to go into the final sound mix by mid-June 2012. The experienced mixer who can bring all these elements together is Dan Olmsted, San Francisco State University sound design instructor and veteran mixer of many documentaries, as well as dozens of short and feature films. $2,000 is allocated in the budget for the mixer's salary, and the Pro Tools sound stages at SF State will be utilized. Color grading will be completed by mid-July 2012, leaving time to finish the HD mastering for greatest flexibility in exhibition and distribution to be finished soon thereafter. Were a partnership with the New Orleans post-production house to be secured, color correction could happen there, or if the schedule or finances dictate, it could be done in Apple's color software. $1,500 is budgeted for color correction. We look forward to sharing a completed Dogs of the Ninth Ward with audiences as early as August 2012. Thank you, and now to Ewan, who will discuss the marketing and distribution plan.
I'm Ewan, and I'm here to discuss the distribution and marketing plan for D9. D9 will premiere at the Artivist Film Festival in Los Angeles. The marketing and distribution plan comes from the template of Peter Broderick's article, Welcome to the New World of Distribution. Broderick outlined 10 guiding principles for filmmakers to incite ideas, encourage innovations, and empowerment to create one's individual distribution path. Number 1, greater control. D9 will be independently distributed, and the filmmakers will choose which rights to sell or manage independently. The filmmakers will have control of the overall marketing and distribution decisions. Number 2, hybrid distributions. The filmmakers will have the option to make separate distribution deals for different markets, retain home video, television, educational, non-theatrical, DVDs, and the digital rights of D9. There will be 2 websites for D9. One website is for the target audience, dog and animal lovers, animal rescue groups, and government representatives, as well as tertiary audiences, those who are perhaps neutral about animal welfare, yet are open to learning about animal neglect, children 12 and above, and people who are interested in New Orleans. The website will be targeted toward film festival programmers, enthusiasts, filmmakers, the press, and for professional networking opportunities. This website will sell DVDs and digital downloads to individuals, nonprofits, and community groups. There will be a PDF discussion guide included with each purchase. DVDs and digital downloads for individuals cost $20. For community screenings, the DVD will cost $80. Website number 2 will target educational institutions such as schools, community colleges, universities, and libraries. This educational website is for professional librarians and archivists. The institutional price is $250 per DVD for public screenings, events, and archival purposes. Number 3, customized strategies. The D9 distribution plan is creative and flexible. The strategy is aimed at its target audience, and the filmmakers will self-distribute and sell DVDs at film festivals as well as at the website and at community screenings. Number 4, core audiences. D9's distribution strategy is aimed at its target audience. To get the word out about the movie and its message, core and tertiary audiences will be targeted online and offline through websites, social media, mailing lists, listservs. We will also contact organizations, nonprofits, publications, network, word of mouth, animal rights and welfare film festivals, documentary festivals, New Orleans, SFA area film festivals, and other venues where the film will screen. The filmmakers intend to take D9 on the road across the U.S. and screen the documentary for community groups, schools, community colleges, universities, nonprofits, vet tech schools, animal groups, religious institutions, and other groups that are interested in screening the movie and having a Q&A with the filmmakers. Number 5, reducing costs. Costs will be financially sustainable through the utilization of the internet rather than traditional print, television, and radio advertising to exhibit, market, and distribute D9. The filmmakers will purchase the distribution and marketing materials in bulk to reduce costs. Publicity to local and national groups will occur primarily via the internet and electronically rather than through print. Direct access to viewers, connecting directly with the core target and tertiary audiences and communities through online and offline outreach. Number 7, direct sales. The DVD and digital downloads will be sold directly from the websites at screenings and community events. There will be a newsletter on the websites, and that will be emailed to individuals and groups on the D9 email list. And number 8, global distribution. D9 will be submitted to national and international film festivals that focus on animal rights Animal Welfare Documentary Festivals, New Orleans Film Festivals, and SF Bay Area-based film festivals. The filmmakers intend for D9 to screen nationally and internationally television via HBO, PBS, Animal Planet, KQED, and other stations. Revenues from various strands of distribution opportunities will be individually accounted for. Revenues from the website will go directly to the filmmakers. The filmmakers will have a data of how much they are earning from each distribution stream. Number 10, true fans. Establishing direct connections and relationships with viewers who resonate and believe in the documentary and its message. The filmmakers intend to build a core personal audience of allies, community, and animal lovers. The filmmakers will connect with their fans via social media, their website, and an electronic newsletter. The newsletter will keep true fans abreast of screenings, events, resources, and upcoming projects.